We're talking about kids in school, and we're going to talk about kids reading. And we want to get right into it because we have Mitch Case, Baltimore Office of Promotion and the Arts. I want to make sure. And Elissa Weissman, right? Who's a children's author. She brought out nice books. So we're going to talk about reading. But first, you want to talk about a festival we have coming up about reading.
Yep, absolutely. This year we have the 19th Annual Baltimore Book Festival happening. It'll be Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th. And we want to remind folks that for the first time ever, we'll be at the Inner Harbor this year instead of our regular home in Mount Vernon.
So tell me about the festival. What goes on?
So we have hundreds of authors from near and far. We have tons of panels, discussions, book signings. We also have cooking demos, children's activities. So it's a fun family weekend, and there's really something to do for everybody.
And this has been going on for a long time.
Yep, this is 19 years. So
what do you get kids of all ages and families of all ages coming to the festival?
Yeah, absolutely. So this year, one of the cool things we're doing, we're opening the festival early on Friday. From 10 to 4, we're going to have specific programming for children, young adults. So we're really encouraging school groups, homeschool groups, parents with young children to come out to the Inner Harbor during that time. We have the National Aquarium on board this year, so there'll be lots of fun, different children's programming happening.
And they'll be able to buy books.
Yep, there's lots of booksellers, for all genres.
Especially Elissa's book.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's no fee to get in?
Nope, it's a completely free festival. Nope, you can come down, meet some of your favorite authors. We have national names, and again, local authors, lots of exhibitors, things like that to check out.
Yeah, it's cool. And cooking demonstrations?
Yep, cooking demonstrations. We have folks from the Food Network, different cookbook authors, so there's all sorts of different things.
So for all ages, that's
absolutely. Yep, no matter who you are, you'll find something to enjoy.
And it's sponsored by the Office of Promotion?
Well, it's produced by the Baltimore Office of Promotion Arts. We also have great program partners, the City Lit Project, Enoch Pratt Free Library, and a lot of other folks that help us program it and put it together.
Fantastic. We'll make sure we keep, plugging that all for the month.
We appreciate it.
Listen, you are an author of children's books.
I am, yes.
Now, how did you decide to do children's books? Is it just a passion of yours?
It is. It's something that I've wanted to do ever since I was about 8 years old, and I fell in love with, I guess I fell in love with reading even earlier, but it was books that I read when I was about 8, 9, 10 that just got me really hooked on reading and made me want to write. And I guess to some degree I never grew up, and I kept writing for that age group. It's a really good fit for me.
And what age group do you focus on?
It's called middle grade fiction, so they're novels for about 8 to 12-year-olds.
Now, we've been talking on the show about needing to get kids reading early. I mean, you write for kids who would, at a young age.
Right.
What do you find? I mean, you obviously talk to kids and see how they feedback on your books, and
I do.
What do you find when we talk about reading and young kids?
I also have 2 young children myself. I have a 3.5 and a 1.5-year-old.
Have they read your book yet?
Not yet. They're not quite that advanced. It'll be very strange when they're old enough to read my books.
I bet.
But I think from a very young age, it's so important to just read with children and get them exposed to literature. And really, the hope is that they'll fall in love with books. And for me, it was just about books that I read when I was that age that made me laugh, that made me think, that I wanted to read again and again because they were so good. And that's what I hope to try to do with my books, is just tell a really good story, something that hooks the reader, characters that kids can relate to, and hopefully make them laugh too, and get them to really enjoy reading so that they'll be happy to read anything going on.
And I think that you talk about the festival and the work you're doing and the books you're writing, and I guess I think we learned from the last segment that it really does take everybody pitching in, and everyone has to play a role, because if you don't learn to read young, I would imagine it's very hard later on.
Right, or if you don't love to learn to love reading young, then I think it's very hard as an adult to, if you struggled with reading, you never had the proper support, or you never found the right books for you, then you're probably not going to be much of a reader later in life.
Because usually with young children, they always want to be read too. And that's got to be, that has to get them interested.
Absolutely.
Into books.
Yeah, and I think that's why something like the Baltimore Book Festival is so great, because kids can come with their parents, see this whole community of people who are excited about books and excited about reading, get to meet authors and illustrators, get to interact with the whole community, and just see that this whole thing can be fun, and it's not just about,
Mitchell, you're going to have little reading sessions for like the young kids?
Yeah, absolutely. We
and
have,
each age group with a little to be able to interact?
yeah, absolutely. We have tons of storytelling. And again, Enoch Pratt is doing our children's stage this year, so they'll have readings every hour. They'll be celebrating books like Where the Wild Things Are. Kids will be able to see some of their favorite storybook characters. There's a parade each day. So there's tons of chance to enjoy literature down there.
Oh, that's cool. That's a real interactive way to do
Yeah,
it. Way
absolutely.
To have little reading things go. Are you going to be there?
I will be. I'll be there on Sunday at 3:30.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You'll be reading your book?
Yeah, I'll be on a panel with 4 other children's authors, novelists. So it should be a really nice panel.
Right. Well, let's see what books have you
Sure. So I brought
give your
2
books
with
a
me.
plug.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
One is The Short Seller. And this one came out last year, and it is about a 12-year-old girl named Lindy Sachs who takes up an interesting hobby when she's stuck at home sick. She becomes an online day trader. And she actually discovers that she's very good at day trading, but she gets into some trouble when she decides to go outside of the $100 her parents have given her and start investing her parents' money as well. And then I've also got Nerd Camp 2.0, which just came out this summer. It's a sequel to my book Nerd Camp, which came out a couple years ago. And in the first Nerd Camp, there's a boy named Gabe who was kind of embarrassed to admit to his new super cool stepbrother that he was going to a summer camp that was basically a nerd camp.
Nerds.
And now in 2.0, Zach, his stepbrother, is going to his own camp, and Gabe is going back to nerd camp. And due to a wildfire in the area, the 2 camps are going to be sharing one campground.
That's cool. And the age group for those books?
About 8 to 12.
8 to 12.
Yeah.
I mean, nerds are coming back. You know?
I think so.
They're making a big comeback.
I don't know if I can
With all the
claim any
computer stuff going
responsibility
on,
for that, but
you have to be a
pretty
nerd
cool.
just to answer your phone. So, I mean, you have to know something. So, oh, that's great. That's good. And so you can buy those books pretty much anywhere, and
Yes.
we've got your website up there.
That's great.
And you'll be at the festival. Give more details on the festival before we wrap up.
Sure. So just a reminder, it's Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th down at the Inner Harbor. Again, hundreds of authors, local, far, booksellers, cooking demos, exhibitors. So again, just stress everything for all ages. And you can find more information at the BaltimoreBookFestival.org.
And in the past, you've had obviously good attendance.
Yeah, we
Since you're
usually
showing
have
online.
upwards of 45,000 folks
Oh,
come out,
yeah.
and that was in Mount Vernon. So we're hoping by expanding to a larger area this year, we get a bigger group of folks.
45,000?
Yeah.
I mean, that gives you hope. You know,
Right, yeah,
that people
absolutely.
want to read and they want to learn to read and they want to get involved with all this.
Yeah.
It's such a nice weekend. It really
Yeah,
is.
it's a fun festival. There's live music.
And
There's
again,
food,
it's
beverage.
free, and there's interactive stuff and food and all kinds of cool stuff that everyone
Yep,
can
a little bit of
get a
everything.
date again. So.
It's Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th.
Okay, so it's this month. Well, thank you, both of you. Great stuff. This is exciting. And I think the whole show, you know. Today was Straight Talk. That's what we were talking about.